What's up, folks? It's your bro Richie here again. Today's video is now an extended video of part 6. So I'm just continuing on where I left off. So sorry about that. It's just my fingers are so cold. I was doing this, and I accidentally flicked the phone like around and just cut the video. It just stopped when I did that. So I briefly apologize if that happened. It's just cold. It's just freezing. Anyways, so let's continue on to where I left off to. Shoot, I don't even know where I left off to. Anyways, whoa, jeez. Alright. So moving on. So the 73 model year Mustang was the 73 model year Mustang was the final version of the original. So the 73 model year Mustang was the final version of the original. So the 73 model year Mustang was the final version of the original pony car, as the model name migrated to the economy Ford Pinto based. Pinto based 2nd-gen Mustang, known as the Mustang 2. The next year. The next year. I don't know why they based that Mustang from a Ford Pinto. Seriously. What is up with this? Okay, so next up we got is the other variants. So it's not much on there, so let's do it. Alright, so a small number of Mexican produced cars. Yep, I don't know why, but also a small number of Mexican produced cars. Anyways. So next up, other variants. So a small number of Mexican produced cars. A small number of Mexican produced cars. A small number of Mexican produced cars were manufactured with the GT351 trim pack under license by Shelby de Mexico. Which was in Mexico. Shelby de Mexico, obviously. Additionally, 14 Shelby Europa cars were both modified and decaled by Belgian both modified and decaled by Claude Dubois, a Belgian Shelby dealer for European clientele. Next up is the engines. So automakers in the US switched from gross to net power and torque ratings so automakers in the US switched from gross to net power and torque ratings in 1972, coinciding with the intro of low compression engines. Thus it's difficult to compare both power and torque ratings between the years 1971 and 1972. So let's see how many we got. 4, 5. So we got 8 engines for 1971. And for 1972 we got 2, 3, 4, And 1973 we got 4. So let's do this. Alright, starting off with this obviously 1971. So for the first one we got is a 4.1 liter. So we got a 4.1 liter 250 thrift power inline 6 with a 1 barrel Carter RBS carburetor. It has an L code and it made at 4,000 RPM, 145 horsepower, and at 2,600 RPM. So at 4,000 RPM, 145 horsepower, and at 2,600 RPM. So at 2,600 RPM, 232 pound-feet, 315 newton meters of torque at, obviously at 2,600 RPM. Then we got a 4.9 liter. So that first one was an inline 6. No need to worry about that. So the next one is a 4.9 liter. So next one's a 4.9 liter. So 4.9 liter 302 small block V8 with a 2-barrel Autoleads 2100 carburetor. It's an F code. It made a bunch more power. So tons more power. At least an extra 65 horsepower more than the pathetic inline 6 did. That's about 4,600 RPM, so 600 RPMs more than previously. It made 210 horsepower, and it made 2,600 RPM, so same RPM as before. 296 pound-feet, 401. So 296 pound-feet. 401 newton meters of torque at 2,600 RPM. Not bad. Now we got 2 Cleveland V8s. So we got 2 of them, 5.8 liter, 351 Cleveland V8s. So we got two 5.8 liter, 351. So 5.8. So we got 2 5.8 liter, 351 Cleveland V8s. The first one is a 2-barrel, 2-barrel Autolead. So 2-barrel Autolead. So the first one has a 2-barrel Autolead, 2,100 carburetor is a H code. Then the other one has a 4-barrel carburetor, a 4-barrel Autolead. So 4-barrel Autolead, 4,300A. So 4-barrel Autoleads. So 4-barrel Autolead. So 4-barrel Autolead. So 4-barrel Autolead. 4,300A carburetor is an M code. And they make between 240 to 285 horsepower, both at 5,400 RPM. So both at 5,400 RPM. And they make between 350 to 370 pound-feet, which is 475. So 475. So 475. So 475 to 502 newton meters of torque at 3,400 RPM for both. So the one that makes the least amount is the first 5.8 liter V8. So the one that makes 240 horsepower is the first 5.8 liter Cleveland V8. And the one that makes 285 horsepower as the second 5.8 liter Cleveland V8. Same engine, just different carburetor types and whatnot. say between 240 to 285 horsepower, with the same RPM of 5400 RPMs, and at 5400 RPMs for power, and at 3400 RPM for torque. Between 350 to 375, 350 to 370 pound-feet, 475 to 502 newton meters of torque at 3400 RPM for both. Then we got the same exact engine displacement and engine, but this is the CJ version of the same 5.8 liter. 5.8. So this engine is the next. So this next engine is the same one, but this is a CJ version of the original 5.8 liter 351 Cleveland V8, same 4-barrel carburetor types. This time it's a Q code. For the late my 1971 only is a replacement for the M code. Same power and torque configurations as same RPMs. Next we got the same engine, but it's just a standard 5.8 liter. standard 5.8 liter 351 Cleveland V8 with a 4-barrel Autolite. This time instead of 4300A, it's a 4300D R code this time, not Q code. It says R code. Carburetor for the bus, 351 only. And it makes it the same exact 5400 RPMs. Bunch more power at 5400 RPM, 330 horsepower. That's 45 more than the previous V8, previous 5.8 liter V8, 330 horsepower. Pretty good. So 330 horsepower. So 330 horsepower at 5400 RPM. And 370 pound-feet, 370 pound-feet, 502 newton meters of torque. So same exact torque, this time at 4,000 RPM. And next we got the big engines, the beasts. So we got two 7-liter V8s. So the first one is a 7-liter 429 Cobra Jet V8 with a 4-barrel Rochester Quadrajet carburetor as a C code. With 370 horsepower. So with 370 horsepower and the same exact 7-liter 429 V8. Essentially the same one, but this time it's a little bit different. We got a 7-liter 429 Super Cobra Jet V8. This time with a 4-barrel Holly 4150 780 CFM J code carburetor. This time between 5200 RPMs for both of them. The first one, so between 5200 RPMs for both of them. So between 5200 RPMs for both of those cars. The first one made 370 horsepower. That one, the Super Cobra Jet, a little bit more, 375 horsepower. Both with the same exact torque at 30 most powerful engines ever. We got one straight six, one inline six, the rest of them are V8s. So for 1972, the first engine before, so before I continue, I just gotta put the phone on charge real quick. There we go. 8%. What? Okay, 1972 is about to get off to a rocky start right now. So we got 5 engines. One of them is an inline six. The rest of them are V8s. So one of them is an inline six. The rest of them are V8s. So first one we got is from 1972. Is a 4.1 liter 250 thrift power inline six. So 4.1 liter 250 thrift power inline six with a 1-barrel. It's an L code with a 1-barrel Carter RBS carburetor. L code at 3,400 RPM makes just 95 horsepower. Nothing. 95 horsepower is just not even like it's barely moving. 95 horsepower is nothing. It made at 1,600 RPM, 197 pound-feet, 267, so 197 pound-feet, 267 newton meters at 1,600 RPM. Again, barely nothing. Just like barely anything happening at all. Barely moving, I'll tell you now. So let's that out the way. I don't have to worry about that. Alright, next one we got. It's a bit surprising, but still not that powerful, but still it's pretty. It's just better. We got a 4.9 liter small block, so 4.9 liter, almost 5 liter small block 302 V8s with a 2-barrel auto lead. So 2-barrel auto leads. 2100. So 2-barrel auto leads. So 2-barrel auto leads. 21. So 2-barrel auto leads. 2100 F code carburetor, and it makes at 4,000 RPM, 140 horsepower. It's at 4,000 RPM, 140 horsepower, and at 2,000 RPM, 324 newton meters. It's at 2,000 RPM, 239 pound-feet. It's at 2,000 RPM, at 2,000 RPM, 239 pound-feet, 324 newton meters of torque. So 324 newton meters of torque at 2,000 RPM. Now we got 3 different Cleveland V8s. All 3 of them are 5.8 liter, 351. So all of them are. These 3 are 5.8 liter. 5.8 liter. 351 Cleveland V8s. One of them is 2-barrel. The other 2 are 4-barrel carburetors. So starting off with the first one, with a 2-barrel auto leads. So 2-barrel auto leads. So 2-barrel auto leads. 2100 H code carburetor. It made that 4,000 RPM, 177. So 177 horsepower. So 4,000 RPM. 4,000 RPM, 177 horsepower, and at 2,000 RPM, 224 2,000 RPM. Now we got the same engine, but this time it's a 4-barrel. This is a Cleveland CJ-V8 with a 4-barrel. That's right, 4-barrel. Auto leads 4,300 D. So 4,300 D carburetor Q code. This time it makes almost 100 more horsepower than previously. This time at 5,400 RPM. A whopping colossal 266 horsepower. At 5,400 RPM, 266 horsepower. It's a bit better. And it made a lot more torque at 3,600 RPM. So 3,600 RPM, 301 pound-feet. So 301 pound-feet, 408 newton meters of torque at 3,600 RPM. Now we got the same engine, but this time it's a HO version with the same exact 4-barrel auto leads 4,300 D carburetor. This time that engine is now an R code with 6,000 RPM. Most amount of power, 275 horsepower. Not too bad, 275 horsepower. It's at 275 horsepower. So at 6,000 RPM. Say 6,000 RPM. 6,000 RPM. 275 horsepower. So 275 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. And it made at 3,800 RPM. So at 3,800 RPM, 286 pound-feet, 286 pound-feet, 388 newton meters of torque at 3,800 RPM. Now, last but certainly not the very least, we got is 1973 and landed there. Boom. Well, almost got production, but I doubt there might be anything there, but I'll find out. Anyways, so last one we got is 1973. So I got 4 engines, one is straight 6, the other 3 are V8s. So let's finish this. So for the first one we got is obviously a 4.1 liter. So 4.1 liter 250 thrift power inline 6 with a 1-barrel Carter RBS. So 1 barrel. So with a 1 barrel Carter RBS L code. So 1 barrel Carter. So 1 barrel Carter RBS L code carburetor. So with a 1 barrel Carter RBS L code carburetor at 3,400 RPM. It makes 98 horsepower, and at 1,600 RPM, 197 pound-feet, 267 newton meters. Say 267 newton meters. Say at 1,600 RPM. So yeah, 1,600 RPM. So 1,600 RPM. 197 pound-feet. 267 newton meters. Not bad at 1,600 RPM. Now we got a 4.9 liter small block 302 V8. Right up it'll be a 5 liter, but it'll be a 30 small block 305 V8. But this is a 4.9 liter small. But this is a 4.9 liter small block. It's a 4.9 liter small block 302 V8. So 4.9 liter small block two-barrel auto leads, 2100 F-code carburetor, made more power than the inline six. The V8 makes it at 4,000 RPM, at 4,000 RPM, 140 horsepower, and at 2,000 RPM, 239. Run up's like almost 240 pound-feet of torque. So 240 pound-feet, 324. So at 2,000 RPM, 239 volts, 240 pound-feet, 324 newton meters of torque at 2,000 RPM. So at 2,000 RPM, 239 pound-feet, 324 newton meters of torque at 2,000 RPM. And now we got the final two V8s, which they are 5.8 liter, 5.8 liter, 5.8 liter, 351 Cleveland V8s. The first one is just the original Cleveland V8 with a two-barrel auto leads, 2100 carburetor. So two-barrel auto lead, 2100 carburetor. It's a H code. It made a bit more power than the original 5-liter V8. It now made 177 horsepower at 177 horsepower. So 177 horsepower at 4,000 RPM, and at 2,000 RPM, 284 pound-feet. So at 284 pound-feet, 385 newton meters of torque. So at 2,000 RPM, 284 pound-feet, 385 newton meters of torque at 2,000 RPM. And last but certainly not the very least, we got the CJ version of that exact same engine, but this time it's a 4-barrel. This is last but certainly not the very least, we got the CJ version of that exact same engine, but this time it has a 4-barrel auto leads. So a 4-barrel auto lead, 43. So 4-barrel auto leads. So 4-barrel auto lead, 4300D carburetor. It's a Q code, and it made at 5,400 RPM. Is it 5,400 RPM? The most amount of power, 266 horsepower. Pretty good. 266 horsepower. Say 5,400 RPM, 266 horsepower, and at 5,400 RPM, 266. So at 5,400 RPM, 266 horsepower. Not too bad, pretty good. The same amount of power as the previous, well, the same V8, just in 1972. So I made at 5,400 RPM, 266 horsepower. So at 5,400 RPM, 266 horsepower, and at 3,600 RPM, 301. So at 3,600 RPM, production lifespan. And so yeah, so if you guys like this video, like and subscribe.